Hello, my name is YuYu Chen, and I'm an 11th grade student at Conceptual International School in Taiwan. Walking down any street, you aren't just looking at signs, you're solving puzzles. You see a billboard, pause for a second, catch the pun, then smile. The tiny click in your brain is the secret weapon for advertisement. It's what turns a boring slogan into a joke that you can actually remember. But how does this click actually happen? Today I'm going to show you how we can use a Western linguistic tool called Conceptual Integration Theory to map out the humor in Chinese pun ads. We're going to look at how our brain blends different meanings to create that perfect moment of wit. Today I'll be presenting my findings on Tonight I Want a Bit to Order, Chinese pun ads through Conceptual Integration Theory. To help us navigate the study, I've broken my presentation into 5 key sections. First, we have my research question, which focuses on the specific types of pun found in Taiwan and how I process them. Then I'll be introducing Conceptual Integration Network, also known as CIN. This is the theoretical engine we use to understand how humor works in our brain. Next, I'll briefly touch on the methodology, how I collect and analyze these advertisements. The key section will be on discussion and analyzing. We'll be looking at real-world examples of homonymic, polysemy, semantic deviation to understand how exactly they blend in our minds to create that humoristic effect. Finally, we'll wrap up with the conclusion, where I summarize why this Western framework is so effective for analyzing Chinese wordplay. To understand why this research matters so much, you first have to look at the landscape of the modern advertising. Data shows that roughly 20% of all advertisements utilize humor as the primary strategy to engage audiences. This is because the humor reduces the consumer's natural resistance to a sales pitch. It makes the brand feel more like a friend and less like a salesman. In the context of Taiwan, this trend can be more commonly seen. In an analysis of award-winning slogans in local media, I found that 28% of these advertisements specifically employ pun expressions, whether it's on the side of a bus, a sneak peek, a billboard in Taipei Metro. The puns are the most preferred option for humor in our culture. However, despite their popularity, most people view the pun as simple or cheap joke. My goal today is challenge that idea by showing that puns is actually required advanced cognitive work to understand. Based on the prevalence of puns we just discussed it, my research focused on 3 fundamental questions. First, what type of pun expressions are more commonly seen in Taiwanese advertisements? Second, how do Chinese pun advertisement blend concepts into Conceptual Integration Network, CIN, to produce humor and persuasion? Third, how do CIN explain the cognitive and emotional effect of pun in Chinese advertising? To analyze these puns, I've used Conceptual Integration Network, thinking it as a mental map with 4 different spaces. First, we have 2 input spaces, one for the literal word and one with the brand message. They are linked by the generic space, the shared sound or context that connects them. The magic happens in the blended space. This is where the 2 ideas collide to create that new funny meaning. The humor we feel is actually our brain's reward for successfully connecting the 2 separate words. In the mental workout that makes advertisements stick in our brain. Take the ad 一块救地球 as an example. It replaces the word together, 块, with the word chopstick, 块. Because they sound identical, our brain blends the act of eating with environmental protection. In that split second, a simple pair of chopstick becomes a tool of saving the world. Let's move on to the methodology of the research. First, data collection. From campaigns award, from advertising slogan award quote awards, and Taipei Golden Image Awards. I've collected a total of 224 winning slogans from 2014 to 2024, and 155 of them are puns. Second, preprocessing. The slogans were categorized by brand types and by semantic features. This categorization helped organize the data for targeted linguistic analysis. Third, data analyzing. The slogans were analyzed to find trend of rhetorical structure and conceptual blending. Specific attention was paid on how emotional and culture associate to build through languages. And lastly, discussion and conclusion. The analyses show how advertisers focus on layer meanings and phonetic play to enhance memorability and persuasion. After analyzing 10 years of data, the results show a clear preference on how humor is constructed in Taiwanese media. I've categorized these findings into three primary linguistic strategies. First, we have homonymic puns, which relies on words that sound identical. However, the most dominant strategy is polysemy. This involves taking a single word that already have multiple meanings and twist it. From a humor perspective, this is highly effective because the audience already had a strong mental map of the word. Making an unexpected shift in the meaning becomes more impactful. Finally, we see semantic deviation, where the dramatic rule of the word changes to create that new context. What this distribution tells us is that Taiwanese puns and humor isn't about sounding alike, it's deeply rooted in the clever manipulation of existing word meanings. After categorizing the slogans, the results are shown on the pie chart. First, let's look at the table on the right. With slogans award collected 57 slogans and Time Advertising Slogan Awards with 91 slogans. The distribution between the three types of pun are shown. Moving on to the pie chart on the left, it shows the result with homonymic 42.9%, polysemy 53.5%, and semantic deviation with 3.8%. Now, let's look at how the three categories actually work using the CIN framework. First, homonymic. These pun relies on words that sound identical but carry completely different meanings. A perfect example would be the Mid-Autumn Festival ad, 中秋寻找有缘人, seeking a destined person during the Mid-Autumn Festival, which include two different meanings, a person of roundness, 有缘人, and a person destined to be together, 有缘人. This focuses on the phrase 有缘人. In this CIN, the general space includes Moon Festival and also the activities during the Moon Festival. The input space is the traditional phrase 有缘人, which refers to someone you are destined to be with. The input space too is the brand twist 有缘人, which literally means a person of roundness, a playful association to the round moon and the shape of their mooncake. Lastly, with the blended space, including watching the round moon with distant people and watching the moon while eating. The humor comes from the blended space. The audience expected a romantic meaning about destiny, but they met with a literal description of the product's shape. Second, polysemy, which is the most commonly strategy found in my research. It accounted for over 53% of the ads. Unlike homonymic puns that are played with sounds, polysemy used a single word that already have multiple meanings and establish different meanings. Let's look at the health supplement ad. Starting the year strong with good health and good fortune. 开年要强，健康好彩头. The point here is the word 强, which means strong. This includes two different meanings, physical strength and mental resistance, or reliance. Looking at this CIN framework, it includes two different elements in the general space, which is new year, and also healthy. And two distinct input spaces. Input space 1 represents the physical strength, the literal health benefits for the product. Input space 2 represents the mental resistance, reliance, and strong luck, the culture desire to be competitive and successful in the new year. In the blended space, it includes mentally and physically strong, and face challenges with reliance. The two meanings merge. The humor and the persuasion lies in the clever overlap. The app suggested that drinking the supplement, your physical health and your overall life success will become one and the same. Lastly, semantic deviation. Our final category is the semantic deviation. The example here is the clever ad of dental services or pain relief. Language you cannot say out loud. 说不出口的话, which includes mental difficulty, such as embarrassment, and physical ache, such as toothache. Looking at the CIN framework, the general space includes want to express, and alter out loud or speak out in sound, and also word or saying. Usually when we hear the phrase, I cannot say it out loud, 说不出口, we usually think of input space 1, mental or emotional difficulty. It's a secret or something too embarrassing to admit. However, the ad provokes input space 2, physical reality of a toothache or oral pain. You literally cannot open your mouth to speak. In the blended space, it includes mentally refrain from speaking, for example, embarrassment, and physically refrain from speaking. The humor emerged from the realization that it's just a cavity. It's a powerful use of CIN because it creates empathy. The audience recognizes the familiar feeling of being unable to speak. Then the experience of relief of moment when they realize the ad is offering a physical solution to the physical problem. It turns a painful solution, a situation, to a moment of shared width. To wrap up, my study demonstrates that Conceptual Integration Network, CIN, is not just a linguistic tool, but a universal framework for understanding the mechanism of width and happiness. We've seen that whether it's sound-alike puns, double meanings word, or contextual shift, the process is the same. Our brain must actively blend separate mental spaces to create that hidden and finding that hidden logic. The blending is what triggers the cognitive humor effect and create a positive emotional response. In the competitive world of Taiwanese advertisement, it's the engine of impact. By forcing the audience to participate in the joke, the brands create a more memorable and persuasive connection. Through the lenses of CIN, we can finally map the pathway of our human brain that leads to laughter and happiness, proving that even a simple pun is a masterpiece of cognitive engineering. These are the references that I use for the slides and research. Thank you for watching.